Hello YouTube. Interesting topic today, something that is openly discussed a lot and that is not often challenged is the topic of front delts. You will hear a ton on YouTube Fitness that you don't have to isolate your front delts and that doing presses, horizontal and vertical, is enough. It will take care of them. I do not disagree with that mentality for the vast majority of people, meaning that yes, you will get good development in strength and size from presses. But I resent the fact that it lacks nuances. And nuances are the spice of life. It's what makes debates and intellectual topics interesting. So I will try and add my nuance to the idea that you're not supposed to isolate them because I personally think that there are benefits to isolation. What you will hear as a counter-argument to isolating them is the fact that it can lead to potential overuse injuries because they're already used so much. I believe personally that the opposite is true. I think that many people who do a ton of pushes and presses can get some benefits from actually isolating the front delt. Why? Because in a sense, when you hurt your shoulder, and I made a video about it, what you're hurting is not the front delt, it's not the muscle of the shoulder, it's what's underneath. And all that pressing you're doing, yes, is developing the front delt, but it's also putting a ton of pressure on the rotator cuff and the AC joint when you do horizontal presses or if you do vertical presses with poor form. As far as isolation of the front delt goes, there's pretty much only one thing you can do, which is raises. Now, I'm going to completely write off lateral raises just because one, they're not going to involve the front delt as much if you do them proper. And if you don't do them proper and you do them like this, you're going to develop shoulder impingement. So yes, that's going to lead to injury. But as far as front raises go, if you do them right, I think that they are not only amazing for the front delt, but also for the other heads of the shoulder. Because if you do them properly, you're going to feel the entirety of the shoulder. And that movement here is something that you don't do at any other point in your training. So it's going to build and add a new stimulus to the program that is very interesting for hypertrophy. I've heard people say that it's a useless movement because you never do that in real life. That for me, that's just a poor argument because you never lay on your back and do this in real life either. So why is this better for front delt than this? I think it's not. The correct way to do front raises for people who are interested is just like a press, you pack your shoulders back and down, and from here you raise. And if you can do them with a false grip, it's going to take out the wrist, it's going to isolate the shoulder. Don't swing, dead stop, don't bend the legs, and just raise. Do sets of 10 for like do sets of, sets of 10 for 4. And you're going to, I think, feel that your shoulder is going to be taxed in an interesting way. But do you have to do it? I basically destroyed the argument that it's dangerous. But now, even if it's not dangerous, do you have to do it? You don't have to. But if you're a bodybuilder and you want to maximize front delt development, the front delt is more critical than people think. Because when you transition for poses, if the transition is going to lead you in a plane where you raise your arms at any point, when you raise the arm, the front delt is what's visible. It pops out. So if it's really developed and you're lean, it's going to look deep and sculpted. And that's a good look. When you're doing a back double bicep, yes, you see the real delt. Yes, you see the medium delt, but what you see sticking out, that's going to make the connection with the bicep peak, the trap and your head, is going to be the front delt. So if it's developed, it's going to stick out higher. That's something to keep in mind. Maybe you don't want it to stick higher. Maybe you want the bicep peak to stick higher. So you're going to have to modify your pose and maybe not train the front delt as much. As far as flipping the argument that it's dangerous on its head. As I've said before, if a lift doesn't agree with you, don't do it. But I personally can go very heavy on front raises with no pain, and I've actually found that it helps me prevent shoulder injuries because it works my shoulder on a plane that I never usually use. And for me, it's an interesting stimulus. So I do one day where I do very heavy front raises for 4 sets of 10 reps, where I push the weight, and after that I use an elastic band or a spree, and I do just burner reps where I really feel the pump in my shoulder, and it feels amazing. So that's my opinion on front delts and if you should isolate them or not. I think it's something that's very specific, just like people who isolate their neck or their traps. If it's you have a certain goal in mind, and if it agrees with you, then yes, you should isolate it. But the idea that no one should isolate their front delts, or even the idea that you're going to get maximal development of the front delt from just presses, to me is ridiculous, and I just wanted to put it out there for discussion and also for the purpose of finding dogma wherever I found it. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, I'll be very happy to discuss it with you. Have a good day.